Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Qian Ji. I'm happy to present my thesis project to you. My thesis project is called Geo Phantoms, and it is an installation experience that visualizes natural hallucinations based on real patients' testimonials. First of all, let me briefly introduce myself. I graduated with a degree in graphic design. After graduation, I had a chance to work at Urban China magazine. After that, I worked with VML Shanghai and the Fred Ferret Group, which are two advertising agencies. Along with my work experience, my partner and I were suffered from a high-stress job. I was concerned about their mental state. A few of them got heavy migraines that were accompanied by hallucinations. I spent a lot of time studying hallucinations and asking my coworkers questions. This is a personal connection to my project. Then let's walk through what hallucination is and how it works. A hallucination is a perception in the absence of external stimulus. It's from inside. Hallucinations are very startling and frightening. You suddenly see, hear, or feel something that is not there. In the 1760s, Charles Barnard was the first person to describe his eponymous syndrome, which was about some complex hallucinations. From the research that was published in the JAMA Psychiatry, it shows that 1 in 20 people had hallucinated caused by heavy migraines in Sydney, Australia. About 6% of people surveyed said they had experienced at least one hallucination or delusion in their lifetime. Hallucination sounds similar to delusion. However, the difference is obvious. Hallucinations come from your mind. Delusions come from outside world. About 5% of people said they had hallucination, and only about 1% of people said they had delusion. Hallucinations were much more common than delusion. These photos are the multiple visual forms. If people hallucinated, they might see the color enhancement, geometric visuals, visual drifting, scenery slicing, texture repetition, higher pattern perception, and tracers. Hallucinations are very fascinating, but not everybody is able to see them. Let's take a look at the video I have.
My name is Oliver Sacks, and you've got a tendency to seeing things.
A very dramatic sort of hallucination, which can feel very frightening or uncanny, is seeing oneself.
So for this video, for the opening of this video, I want to provide a feeling being in a trance state between real and unreal world. Also introduce my thought leader, Oliver Sacks. He was a famous neurologist in the United States, and he spent his professional life in studying brain science. In his book, Hallucinations, he explained in detail about what hallucination is and provided numbers of testimonials from his patients. I was inspired by the mirror scene in the movie Dark Soup. In the mirror scene, the character Pinky, dressed as a firefly, pretends to be a firefly's reflection in a missing mirror. In one particularly surreal moment, two men swap positions, and a thus of idea of which is a reflection of the other. I'm also interested in migrant art and Islamic art. All this inspiration led to my project. I talked with my friends. I don't have certain people as my persona. I want people who are open, curious about technology, viewing art, interested in a new way to define art and science, and my audience. My installation is in an art exhibition, and it is a working experience, and mostly for adults. Momo, she had a hallucination before, while Ryan and Clement, they didn't experience the hallucination, but they are very curious about what will happen if they get a hallucination. My mood board include the fMRI bridge system and patterns in the shamanism and architect Maria Bellini's project. I was inspired by these patterns, and they can assist me to develop my visual language. Then let's take a look at the visual I have here. The concept of my visual language is based on the hallucination philosophy. Your mind is inside the virtual world. You are seeing things from inside to outside. You can see, hear, or feel in the hallucinated world. Here's some development of my visual elements. Basically, it starts from a triangle and a variety of different shapes. Finally, I got my logo based on the sketches I made. I also explore the font family, Gotham, and the legibility standard color palette. This graphics illustrates the plan view for my two installations. The blue dash line is the floor plan for space 1, and the yellow dash line is a floor plan for space 2. I will explain more when I introduce my installation later. For my technology diagram, I'm gonna use Max MSP 3GS and combine with the external device to work together. I talked with Mark and I bought a lip motion and connect sensor. I start learning the basic coding in 3GS. On the right hand, it shows how Connect worked with 3GS, and underneath the image shows how to create geometric patterns in 3GS. Let me talk about my proof of concept. Start with my first task, GeoPhantoms. My friend Momo, she used to be my partner when I worked in China. She sometimes has hallucination as a stressful job. When she got super severe migraines, she saw the weird things. Once she woke up and she found herself suddenly standing in the middle of her room. She saw a young blurry woman staring at her. She was so scared and she ran out the door. When she turned, she found the young blurry woman followed her. She was so close, Momo cannot get rid of her. After she calmed down in the kitchen, she suddenly realized that actually the young blurry woman is herself. That's her phantoms. Since Momo is talking about the phantoms, so I like to create a space to reappear the unsettled feeling and allow viewers to immerse themselves into that and explore their own phantoms. Let's take a look at the top view on the left side. A large-size fabric-like projection screen, which is semi-transparent, separates the room into two spaces. The spaces are dark. Viewers can come in from different doors. On the right hand, when people facing the screen, it shows a view scope. For the technology environment, I will use body motion mapping with a Connect camera and projection screen. Effects with Max, I will also have the live sound. The image on the right hand illustrates how Max works. Max is how you make things work together, connect box to generate graphics, sounds, customer effects, and rich experience. And on the left hand is how Connect work with Max. There are some XYZ. Each XYZ represents users' left hand and right hand. It also can capture many users at the same time. The image underneath shows the Connect, how to use Connect to make the gesture control the sound. So how it works in my project, the projection screen, the Connect will capture the viewer's body motion and then input the information to Max MSP, and then Max will generate visual and sound, then output the information to the projection screen. Here's the briefly introduction about the features and testimonials from the patients. It allows you to have a previous understanding before you go into the space. And the side view shows people start walking into the space. Then the side view goes on the top, left top. The viewer enters a very dark space. It's difficult for them to figure out what's surrounding him. So unbeknownst to the others, the viewer approached to the screen and he can't see nothing, and so he pulled out his hands to explore something. Then he saw his phantom lip displayed. So he moved closer. He saw the top half of his body. All the viewer moves to the screen, the shapes show up clearly. And there's a delay when they're moving. All the delayed shapes represent their phantoms. They can't figure out which one is the original phantom. If people move away, the phantoms will turn gray, but the accumulation will stay there. And the point is that people might doesn't know someone is coming from the other door approaching to the screen at the same time. They might feel frightened if they saw other phantoms moving in this dark environment. And then let's walk through my second task. Is Geo trip. I have my second testimonial from Oliver Sacks. He used to have hallucination when he was young, sometimes caused by heavy migraines. He saw the hexagon pyramid on the front porch, small one in the kitchen. According to his talk, the geometric and scrolling motifs somehow familiar to him, though it did not dawn on him until years later that this was because he had seen them in his own mind. And these patterns resonated with his own inner experience about geometric patterns and swirls of migraines. Since he saw the patterns in his house, so I like to create an interactive virtual space showing on the wall and allow viewers to interact with this. The left hand shows the view scope for this part, and this approach also allows for great freedom. How it works in my project. When people interact with the screen, they can capture the body motion and then input the information to 3GS, then 3GS output the information to the screen. Same introduction with the first one. So here's the space. When people walk into the space, they might feel uncanny and eerie with a dark environment. And there's geometric patterns will move from far to near. All the patterns will move smoothly. Here's the big version. I will create more geometric patterns inside the virtual space. So for this, after a while, the geometric patterns will go away. Audience participants are invited to intervene or interact with the processes. It will generate patterns by moving your hands or your body. So for this part, I wonder the virtual space represents Oliver Sacks' house to simulate the feeling he saw the geometric patterns in his house, and making them feel they are in the hallucinated world, and allow them to rethink about the processes and lives. I have my topic inspiration, Yayoi Kusama and her exhibition, One of My Dream. She used to be a psychopath and her world was composed by circles, so she drew everything with circles. It is a good place to peep at her own world. And my secondary inspiration is the rain room. It provides a fresh, rainy experience in a room. My inspiration, the dark soup mirror theme. Content plan, I will use Max MSP, 3GS Connect, and also my testimonial source is Oliver Sacks and original interviews. Testing plan, I will have paper prototype about my installation and app, and then the testing, and then the revision of the user usability testing, and second vision about the design technology. After the Midpoint review, I will have my GDS UX class first, and then the Internet of Things generate Iron code. About the research and resources, I found my topic research about Oliver Sacks and technical research at Arduino, processing, and Maximus P. I also have Mark and Colin and Matt to support me to develop my projects. Here's my portfolio gallery. So overall, I would like to let people experience what hallucination is, evoking how it works, make people rethink about their lives. Last but not least, I would like to salute Dr. Oliver Sacks for his great contribution in brain science. This project is based on complex brain phenomena and simple art installations. What I'm trying to do is to use these phenomena and show them in a poetic way, and therefore invite viewers to pause for a moment and think about all the beauties that is constantly surrounding us. That's pretty much about my presentation. Thank you.